I can't speak for everyone else, right? But when I search Genshin Impact version 4.4 on YouTube, the first result for me at the moment is not the special program. Hell, it's not even the Vibrant Harriers Alofted Spring Breeze trailer that released sometime after. The first results for me at the moment are videos talking about the intense controversy surrounding the content coming in version 4.4. More importantly, the free rewards that the Genshin Impact development team are giving for players as thanks for supporting the game for 3 years, and leading Genshin Impact to becoming not just one of the most, but the most profitable gacha game, period. 3 intertwined fates, 3 pulls, 3 cool steals.
I expect nothing, and I'm still let down.
Players and content creators big and small are protesting and voicing their own opinions about this drama in their own way, and you know what? I'm throwing my hat into the ring too, because to keep it a buck with y'all, this is some hot trash, garbage, and in my opinion, all of this mess, not just this round of drama, not the last, and not whatever is destined to come to MiHoYo's way in the future, all of it can be summed up with one word: complacency. Here's a summary of the situation for those of you who are not caught up by this point. The Genshin Impact version 4.4 special program aired on January 19th, 2024, going over the new things coming to the game in the next update. One of the most important pieces of which is the Lantern Rite Festival, an in-game event meant to celebrate the Chinese New Year, and it will go live on January 31st, 2024, assuming nothing else changes. With it comes the usual breadth of festivities that occurs with it. 2 new playable characters to the game's roster in Shengyun and Gaming, new skins for Xingqiu, Ganyu, and Shenhe, which look absolutely fire, by the way. New character and weapon banners, some events you can participate in for free rewards, the usual stuff. But what set off the Chinese player base after this live stream was the Genshin dev team's gift for all players for Genshin's 3rd Chinese New Year celebration. 3 intertwined fates. 3. While for the global player base, at least from my point of view, the gift was so insignificant that many didn't even notice it being mentioned at all, at least from my perspective, the Chinese player base definitely noticed, and, well, they were not happy at all. On top of all of this, a one-time free character skin selector was announced, a heavily requested reward for players who wanted to try out the newest skins, but just didn't have the funds or maybe missed out on some of the 4-star skins while they were available for free, like Barber. So what's the catch? The skin selector is only available as part of a China-exclusive PlayStation 5 Genshin Impact bundle, meaning you have to spend upwards of $500 to get a free in-game skin. Unbelievable. As a result, Genshin Impact is facing heavy backlash and getting review bombed on Chinese social media. Fans have taken to online platforms, forgive me if I butcher these names, Chinese is not my native language, Douyin, which is basically Chinese TikTok, and Bilibili, which is Chinese YouTube, to express their dissatisfaction with the yearly Lantern Rite rewards due in the upcoming 4.4 update. The company has lost a significant number of followers on these platforms in the last 24 hours, and rage comments about the events can be found literally everywhere. Literally just go to Google and type in Genshin Impact version 4.4 Reddit. I promise you, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to do to find some of these comments, and they are kinda crazy about it. The ridiculously priced skin selector is one thing for me, but personally, a measly 3 pulls as a thank you for the players is disappointing to say the least. But there are plenty of examples of companies providing far less rewards to their consumers for yearly celebrations like this, if anything at all. Plus, it's free, right? It's not like MiHoYo is being held at gunpoint to provide these rewards. So why is the rage this widespread?
Man, what did he do to make them niggas that mad?
In my opinion, we have a classic case of the straw that broke the camel's back. It's not just the 3 pulls that players are angry about. It's the long and drawn out history of previous mistakes that have persisted and slowly poisoned the goodwill that some players have had towards MiHoYo and the Genshin Impact dev team. Stakes that only serve as powder kegs until a match like this one is lit that sets the entire community ablaze. I have played this game since its release, and I have seen this cycle time and time and time again. You know what else I've seen time and time and time again whenever drama like this spews up? A comment along the lines of, Genshin would go bankrupt if it gave more free rewards or better quality of life updates or something like that. Let me get that out the way real quick, alright? Let me give you guys some numbers. Hoyoverse, Genshin Impact's international distributor, so for areas outside of China, right, made $3.8 billion in 2022 for a net income of $2.3 billion, okay? Its profits were so high that it was greater than even Sony's entire PlayStation division, which only made $1.84 billion that year. Here's another number. I couldn't find any data for December 2023, probably because the data for that month is still being tallied, I guess. I don't know. Maybe somebody will comment the numbers down there in the comments section below once it comes out, hopefully. But according to Sensor Tower, don't take this as gospel, but it helps prove a point. During November 2023, Genshin Impact was the highest grossing gacha game at roughly $54 million, with Honkai Star Rail being in third place with $20 million for November. Two of MiHoYo's own IPs were at the podium for the most profitable gacha games that month, period. So what's the point I'm trying to make here? Well, it's that MiHoYo has more than enough revenue to increase the frequency and quality of updates and rewards given to Genshin's player base without hurting their bottom line. It's just that simple, okay?
Why isn't it possible? It's just not. Why not, you stupid bastard?
If you need a reminder of just how bad Genshin Impact's dev team has been with free rewards for its players for their continued support of the game, if nothing else matters, take one look at the last 3 anniversary awards, bro. Just look at them. The first anniversary's rewards was a 10 pull, 2 fragile resin, and I guess a glider that they threw in for good measure after. The second anniversary was a 10 pull and 4 fragile resin, and that's it. And the third anniversary was a 10 pull and a bubble gadget and that octo pet thing and 4 fragile resin. Like, wow, they were really in their bag when they made that bubble blower, right? We gonna be real bougie with this. They gonna love this. Who doesn't know everyone's reaction to the first Genshin Impact anniversary, right? That was such a funny and hilarious time to look back on, honestly. I still can't believe Google Classroom of all things got nuked by Genshin Impact players on the global side at least, because of how bad it was. I remember content creators who don't even play Genshin covering the controversy because of how badly it had spread across social media and just everywhere in general. It was honestly crazy. But the second anniversary, people were kind of upset, but not as much as the first anniversary. It was just, we kind of figured the Genshin Impact dev team would have learned that this wasn't what players were expecting from the anniversary of a game as special as Genshin Impact, right? And the third anniversary, when players saw that it was going to be the exact same awards again, basically, minus the 2 bougie pets, I remember there being just even for me, I remember the player base having just a huge wave of indifference towards Genshin's third anniversary. Yeah, this game's been out for 3 years now. Yeah, cool, whatever. And then just moved on because of how anticlimactic and it wasn't special at all. I barely even remember if there was an in-game event that was around for the anniversary this last year. It was so insignificant. There are several gacha games that rank below Genshin Impact that have been far more generous and attentive to their players for the sake of player retention, okay? Not just for their respective anniversaries, but just in general, in terms of not only providing free rewards for players for supporting the game, but also providing quality of life updates at a good enough pace to satisfy their players' interests and needs. And you know what? One of those games is Honkai Star Rail. Look, I know this topic has been beaten to death at this point, alright? By many a content creator at this point. But please, allow me to grind it to dust for good measure, okay? We can have debates all day long about which of these 2 games have a subjectively better gameplay experience due to the numerous differences between each other on that front. You know, comparing Star Rail's more simple weakness break system versus Genshin's elemental reaction system, for example. All right, we can debate about that part of the games all day long as far as I care. But when it comes to the overall experience, okay, the complete package, as a player, I personally feel like Honkai Star Rail trumps Genshin Impact at the moment. And it's honestly not even close. And it's because of the two major things that Genshin Impact has been lacking on since its release. Properly rewarding its players for their dedication to the game, and the numerous, immediately effective quality of life updates that Honkai Star Rail has been getting. So in terms of free rewards, look, I'm just gonna throw this image up, bro, and let it speak for itself. Look at this. Look at it. You remember the rewards that I just mentioned about Genshin's anniversary, right? Well, guess what? Honkai Star Rail hasn't even had its anniversary yet, and look at how many free rewards that the devs for that game have given its players just for supporting the game up to this point. Like, actually look at this, and please tell me that there's not, like, a huge difference here. Like, come on, bro. It's not even a contest. Like, what else can I even say here? You know, the second thing that's not even a contest at this point is quality of life updates. Yeah, Honkai Star Rail beats Genshin handedly here. Honkai Star Rail doesn't have a Serenity Teapot or TCG mode for that matter, but everything else is just an honest joke. The Genshin Impact team has a bad habit of taking way too long to implement quality of life features that the player base asks for, and when they do, it's usually not exactly what the players were hoping for. So here's a couple of examples, all right? So for Genshin Impact, we have the new daily completion system, which is better than what the game had previously, which, you know, instead of completing the daily commissions as normal, you can also do other events in the game, like explore, open chests, and stuff like that, and complete your daily commissions that way. However, it's still a worse system than Star Rail due to each activity being ranked a different way, a different value, as well as the fact that it kind of punishes you for exploring the game, for exploring the environment to 100% completion, like early on, before the system even came out. Because I know of some players who had 100% at Fontaine, and because of that, when this daily completion system came out, it was basically worthless to them, because outside of events, they just had to complete they were basically forced to complete their daily commissions the normal way. While it was a neat attempt, I still think Star Rail's daily system is still better than Genshin's at this point. Another thing that Star Rail beats Genshin in is the relic loadouts. I still can't believe they called it loadouts in that developer discussion, bro. Major shoutouts to the people who commented on my mistake in that video. That video was sort of like a live reaction to that developer discussion. I didn't really catch that it's not actually character loadouts, but more so like a fast equip option. So yeah, major shoutouts to people in the comments of my last video who called me out on that. Really appreciate it. But yeah, it wasn't what the players were asking for. They were asking for artifact loadouts. So for example, if you wanted to run EM Raiden over main hypercarry Raiden, you could just switch the artifact loadouts with just 1 or 2 clicks, and that would be it. But no, that's not what the loadout system is going to be for Genshin at all, if you looked at the details. So that's another L. And yeah, here's a third L that was a problem when the game released and still hasn't been addressed, and we're about to be on to year 4 of Genshin's lifespan. All right, there's still barely any in-game content besides Spiral Abyss, and more specifically, there needs to be in-game content to show off built characters in ways where it's not just a DPS check, because I feel like that would be a mode that would benefit more niche gameplay mechanics like Crystallize or the Geo and the physical element or Overload. Like a mode that would let like other like niche gameplay mechanics shine instead of Spiral Abyss, where it's just basically a DPS check. Now, if you compare all of that to Star Rail, we just got the pure fiction mode. So the Honkai Star Rail dev team basically noticed that in the current meta for Honkai Star Rail, that single target DPSs weren't valued that much in the Memory of Chaos in-game mode, which for those of you who don't know, is essentially Honkai Star Rail's version of Spiral Abyss. So what did they do? They added a new endgame mode called Pure Fiction, specifically to make multi-target DPSs, erudition characters like Himiko, Serval, Jinglu, and others have a place to shine and show what they're capable of. This mode is like literally tailor-made for them. You're just fighting waves of enemies, and that's like a place of combat where other niche characters like Himiko and Herta and Serval can shine. And that's what makes that mode such a fire addition to the game. And I also believe that Honkai Star Rail has a slightly better relic system, if only for one reason: self-modeling resin. Like, Genshin players have been asking for something like that for how long at this point? And Honkai Star Rail has had that since the game's launch. And on top of all that, as I was editing this video together, the version 2.0 live stream for Honkai Star Rail just happened, and that, oh my god, like... So hear this out, right? 4-star selector, no big deal. Genshin already has already done something like that for its events, right? New light cone rewards for completing the endgame content, for completing Memory of Chaos and Pure Fiction, which is way better than artifacts from completing Spiral Abyss, because 9 times out of 10, those artifacts are probably trash anyways. Like, and on top of all that, you in version 2.0, you are going to get 20 free pulls just for logging on, compared to Genshin Impact's 3 single pulls for its anniversary. And there's a ton of other quality of life updates on top of all that. We got the Fate Atlas system to help keep track of the lore in that game for all the lorehead content creators out there. Support system updates, so you can choose between 3 characters per friend that you have on your friend list to aid you in battle. There's also other relic system updates, though to be fair, some of them are pretty similar to the artifact system updates that are coming to Genshin. It's just quality of life on top of quality of life that like players have been asking for that game. And it's not all perfect, but like compared to Genshin, it's like night and day. Like, it's honestly a joke, bro. Oh my god, bro. It's just stupid, bro. It's just stupid. Okay, so here's the part of the video where I feel like I'm going to lose some people and get labeled a Genshin Impact shill, I guess, despite everything I've said so far, but whatever. So, I know I just spent a whole bunch of time talking trash about Genshin, right? But look, there's a reason why I used the word complacency in the title and thumbnail of this video instead of something more clickbaity like lazy, arrogant, or selfish. It's because I firmly believe those words don't accurately reflect the way Genshin Impact has been developing, okay? The dev team puts a ton of work into designing, coding, and refining the finer details for this absolutely large and beautiful game, okay? And literally every other major gaming studio in the industry took notice upon Genshin's release, alright? Lest we forget how foreign of a concept an open world gacha game was prior to its release. I believe Genshin rightfully earned its spot at the top of the gacha game food chain upon its release because of the sheer amount of blood, sweat, and tears that was poured into nearly every aspect of it for its player base. And honestly, it was just at a different level compared to every other gacha game at the time. It just was, at the time. So no, I'm not going to be a wild conspiracy theorist and say that the Genshin Impact team hates its player base or something, you know? But they didn't have to, go out of their way to include modes like Serenity Pod or an entire Genshin TCG mode for players who wanted some type of PvP or something like that. They didn't have to go out of the way to do that. But if that's the case, why am I using the word complacency then? Well, because complacency, by definition, is self-satisfaction, especially when accompanied by unawareness of actual dangers or deficiencies. I believe this describes the state of Genshin Impact right now. It's not that they're not working hard enough in a general sense, It's that they're not working hard enough in the aspects of the game that have needed improvement for the longest of time. It's really starting to poison the player base of this game. It really is. Here's another part of this video that I feel like I'm gonna lose some people in, but whatever. I've also been seeing some advocating for a boycott or strike of some form from other content creators. There was this video by Bimo, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, that I watched. And I totally understand the sentiment here, guys. I really do. But we're talking about just 3 single polls here. Other companies have done far worse things and have remained standing once the smoke cleared. Let's just keep it a buck. And also, while free rewards and quality of life updates are important for a live service game's player retention, there's no hard-written law stating that companies like MiHoYo have to give them out to players lest a witch hunt occur upon them. So from a very broad point of view, technically, okay, listen to me, technically, MiHoYo isn't even in the wrong here. Plus, if history is anything to go by, with players remaining after the lackluster 1st, 2nd, and 3rd global anniversaries, I don't really think a lackluster 3rd Chinese New Year anniversary, or spoiler alert, even a whack 4th anniversary is going to be an immediate nail in the coffin for Genshin Impact here. I know. This is just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me here. Trust me. Plus, I don't know about y'all, but I'm definitely copping them Ganyu and Shenhe skins when they release, okay? So I guess from a player base perspective, there's a bit of complacency on our end too, if we look at it from that perspective, from that end. But it is what it is. However, remember what I said earlier about free rewards and continuous quality of life updates being important for all gacha games for the sake of player retention? Well, Genshin Impact's complacency in this area leaves the game very vulnerable to the second C word that I haven't mentioned at this point. No, not that one. The second C word that, while also not an immediate nail in the coffin, could spell danger for the game in the long run. Competition. Like I said earlier, literally every other major gaming studio in the industry took notice of Genshin Impact's, well, impact upon release and acted accordingly. Genshin Impact is one of the best, if not the best, gacha games out in the market right now, but it is not, nor will it ever be, the only one. Several games like Tower of Fantasy and Wuthering Waves, likely influenced by Genshin's success, have entered the fray, and there is going to be many more like them in the future who aim to dethrone the king. Now, whether or not those games will be successful in their own right is a whole nother story, but the point I'm trying to make here is that one of the worst things that can happen for Genshin Impact in its current state is for a better Genshin Impact to enter the fray. Because the moment that happens, the player base, already burned by Genshin Impact far too many times at that point, will almost immediately jump ship. I mean, to keep it a buck with y'all, we already see it happening with Honkai Star Rail and how its mere existence has started cannibalizing Genshin's player base. I know they're both made by the same publisher, you know, MiHoYo literally suffering from success here, but it is something to think about for when a non-MiHoYo gacha game threatens to remove them from the podium in the future. Honestly, I only have like one question on my mind as I wrap up this video, alright? I honestly don't know how many more times this is going to happen, like this type of drama is going to happen in the future, but like, why does it have to be like this? Like, genuinely, why does it have to be like this? Is there like a broken chain, like a broken chain of communication between the Genshin Impact team and its player base or something like that? Like, has the message not been delivered that the quality of life updates that have been happening to the game and the free rewards that have happened for its player base are just lackluster? Have been lackluster for the past 3 to 4 years? Like, has that message not gotten through? Like, I honestly don't know. I just really hope that the Genshin Impact dev team can just work on this in the future, especially if there's going to be more games like Wuthering Waves and things of that nature that are going to challenge Genshin Impact's status as the cream of the crop gacha game in the future. Alright, so in other words, there's really only one thing that I have to say for the Genshin Impact dev team. Like, it's just, please, stop being complacent.